in this.
Ron Paul, thank you. Keep us posted. Always good having you. In the meantime, that stand of a Nevada ranch, it might be cooling off, but it's certainly not over. And is this what started it all? The government suddenly trying to protect a tortoise. Add that to the Environmental Protection Agency trying to grab authority over wetlands and waterways, which could be on private lands. And radio talk show host Dana Lash, I should say, says we've got a problem here, but it's a consistent problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge problem of consistency, Neil. Thanks so much for covering this story, too, by the way, because this isn't something that's completely limited to Clive and Bundy either. There are a number of ranchers in Nevada, a number of ranchers in Utah, property owners in Colorado, people in New Mexico who've all been battling the Bureau of Land Management. We all know that the EPA has massive overreach. We've seen stories of that hitting the headlines. But in this particular situation, it seems to be kind of a government-invented problem. I mean, didn't they do nuclear testing out in this very same desert now where they're saying cattle, which have lived on the same land of this desert tortoise for the past 100 years, now suddenly it's a problem? And it's also important to note, Neil, that the very reason that the Bureau of Land Management gave for wanting to restrict Clive and Bundy's herd in the first place, this presence of this desert tortoise, they're actually going to be euthanizing a number of them. There's this refuge that's now shutting down, and the government is going to be euthanizing hundreds and hundreds. I read a number that said 1,400, don't know if it's that high, of these desert tortoises. So it seems as though their population is doing relatively well, and I don't think it's necessary to run a number of ranchers, all of the ranchers out of southern Nevada for it.
Is the government the one pushing for euthanizing the tortoises? Because if they're an endangered species or whatever, you probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you would think if it was an endangered species, you wouldn't be euthanizing any of it. You probably also wouldn't be making deals with a Harry Reid campaign donor by the name of Harvey Whitmore to move the desert tortoise boundary over just to accommodate one of his developments. You probably also wouldn't be considering doing the same thing for a wind project, Neil, or to put a superhighway through either.
All right. Dana, thank you. Keep us posted.
Thank
Good
you.
seeing you again. In the meantime, everyone is talking about